Let's try a little thought experiment. Forget about a crypto crash or a dip. I mean, we've all seen those. No, we're talking about something way bigger, something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. What if the value of Bitcoin didn't just fall? What if it just vanished? Zero. I'm not talking about a fraction of a penny. I mean a perfect, beautiful, absolute zero. The crazy part is, in this scenario, the system is still running. The code is fine. The only thing that's gone is our collective agreement that it's worth anything at all. So picture this. It's a totally normal day. You're grabbing your coffee, you pull out your phone to check the markets, and you see it. Right there next to Bitcoin, there's a number you have never, ever seen before.
Now here's what's so interesting. The very first human reaction isn't going to be panic. It's not chaos. It's just confusion. Our brains are wired to reject the impossible. We look for a simpler, more logical explanation.
A glitch. That's got to be it, right? It has to be a bug in the app's price feed or a broken API or something. Yeah, that's the first place your mind goes.
So you do what we all do. You pull down to refresh. Once, nothing. Twice, still nothing. You close the app, you reopen it. But that number, it's just sitting there, stubbornly staring back at you. Zero.
Okay, fine. You switch apps. You jump over to social media looking for news, for memes, for literally any explanation. But all you find is this weird, eerie quiet, which then turns into a roar of thousands of people all asking the exact same question you are.
And then that slow, cold feeling starts to creep in. Every single source, every platform, every data feed all across the world is saying the same thing. The number isn't a mistake. The value is actually gone.
And this is where the psychology of the whole thing gets really fascinating. Because your first instinct, your gut reaction, is to sell. Get out. But wait a minute. How do you sell something that's worth nothing?
Let's be super clear about what this means. The technology did not fail. The blockchain is humming along just fine. Your wallet still exists. The network is running. This isn't a technical problem. It's a belief problem. The collective idea that gave it value has just evaporated.
And this really shows you the difference, right? In a crash, people are frantically trying to sell to someone, anyone who's willing to buy, even at a lower price. It's a panic. But at zero, there is no lower price. There are no buyers. The whole concept of a trade just stops making sense.
So the first real damage isn't to your bank account. It's to your brain. It's this deep cognitive shock. The very idea that something so huge, so global, could just poof, disappear overnight, it makes you doubt the very nature of value itself. A shockwave that big doesn't just stay in one place. It spreads. It's like a virus of doubt, and it starts infecting everything. The question in everyone's mind quickly changes from what just happened to Bitcoin to something much, much more dangerous.
The thought process goes something like this. If a decentralized global network that millions of people believed in can just become worthless in an instant,
then what does that say about every other crypto out there? Suddenly, the trust in the entire digital asset space starts to look pretty shaky.
And hang on, if digital assets can just lose our faith, what about stocks? I mean, they're really just digital numbers in a computer somewhere that represent a piece of a company, right?
and that's when the doubt hits the bedrock of our entire system. What about this piece of paper in my wallet, or the numbers in my bank account? They only have value because we all just agree that they do.
So the result isn't some big Hollywood explosion. It's something quieter, but way more deadly. Hesitation. People pause. Big institutions reconsider their moves. Investments get put on hold. And that collective pause is absolute poison for a global economy that runs on trust and speed.
Okay, so as fun as that little doomsday scenario is to think about, it's also incredibly unlikely to ever happen. The truth is, Bitcoin has some pretty powerful built-in defenses against this kind of total value collapse. In fact, while we all know it's a volatile asset, the actual chances of it hitting a true, permanent zero, well, most estimates put it at less than 1%. So what makes it so tough? Well, you can boil it down to four main things. First, you've got the network effect. Millions and millions of users and miners have a real stake in this. Second, decentralization. There's no single button to push, no CEO to fire. It's almost impossible to shut down. Third, scarcity. There's a hard cap, which gives it real rarity. And last but not least, you've got big money. Huge institutions, even countries, have billions invested. They're not going to let it go to zero without a fight.
So if the zero scenario is just a fun thought experiment, what's the real takeaway here? Well, the whole point is that it forces us to look at what value actually is, especially now, in our digital world. Turns out, it was never really about the fancy code or the blockchain.
And this is the core lesson. Value isn't some physical property of an object, whether we're talking about a Bitcoin, a stock, or a dollar bill. It is a story we all agree to believe. It's a shared idea. Bitcoin is so fascinating because, as a purely digital thing, it just makes that invisible truth impossible to ignore.
Ultimately, this whole thought experiment shows us that our entire economic world, from the oldest bank to the newest crypto, is built on this very fragile thing called human trust. Bitcoin going to zero isn't the real crisis. It would just be the proof that a deeper crisis of trust has already happened. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, what happens when that trust is gone?